Hello, my name is Ioannis Dizoglu. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a powerful software application by using Visual Basic. And this software application, to start with, the user will have to enter a serial number. So basically, they have to purchase the software application that we develop. Then once they have actually put the correct serial number, they will be able to use it only if the username and the password exists. If the user and password doesn't exist, they will be able to actually click on the help menu to basically contact the super administrator, and the super administrator will be able to log on and will be able to see all the usernames and the current passwords on the system. And as a result, the super administrator will be able to actually change the usernames and the passwords as necessary to allow access to the users. Also, each individual user will be able to change their own password as well. So there's quite a few things that we're going to be learning here. I will include also a timer on this video tutorial, so you will be able to actually understand how to manage the time within the software application. Okay, to get started, we are going to select Create a New Project. We're going to make sure that we're going to select Visual Basic, and we're going to put the .NET framework here. So .NET on the search bar and select Windows Phone App. Click Next. We're going to save this software application as My App. So in your case, you're going to call it whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to select Create. And here we have by default the Form 1. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the project. By the way, if your window doesn't look like this, you can go to Window, select Reset Window Layout, click Yes. Then right click on the form and select Properties, so you have the properties here. Then go to View and select Toolbox. So you have the toolbox here. Let's pin this toolbox here so it's always visible. If by default you open the toolbox, let's collapse all of them. You can see just this. Just expand only the all Windows forms. So all the tools we are going to be using are based on alphabetical order here. Okay, let's go to Project menu, select Add New Form, and we're going to select Form. And what I'm going to call this form is FRM, short for form, and I'm going to call this login. Click Add. I will then go to Project, Add Form, and I'm just going to make sure you select Form. I'm going to call this form FRM Serial Number. Click Add. Then I'm going to go to Project, Add Windows Form again, and I'm going to call this FRM Main. So this will be the main software. Let's call it Main App. Let's go to Project again, Add Windows Form, and I'm just going to call this FRM Change Password. Okay. Then I'm going to create a new form, project, add Windows Form, and I'm going to call this FRM Super Admin. So only the super administrator will be able to access this one. Let's see what we have here. We have change password, login, main app, serial number. Okay, I think we will be alright with this for now. Let's put settings as well. So project, add new Windows Form, and let's put here FRM settings. Okay, let's click Add. Now let's go to Form 1, right click and select Delete. We no longer need the Form 1. Let's double click on My Project here. And we want the default software application, the default form to open to be the login form. Okay. Now we are going to the settings let's create some settings here. So the first settings we're going to put is called serial number. And I'm just going to set the serial number to 1, 4. Let's call this serial number 1, 2, 3, 4 hyphen 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this will do for now. I want to make sure that if the serial number is registered already, I want to store this value. So I'm just going to call this registered app status. So let's expand this a little bit. So register app status, by default it's going to be 0. 0 is no registered. So if the correct serial number is used, this value will be changed to 1. So then the user don't have to keep putting the serial number. So now I'm going to set up some settings here for the users. So I'm just going to say user1, and I will say the person's name. User1, and I'm going to call, let's put user2, and then the person's name. And let's put user3, the user's name. Then I'm going to go back to user1, user1, and I will put username, user2, username, user3, username. Then I'm going to put user1 password, user2 password, and user3 password. Okay, so the first user, I'm just going to call the first user Lee. The second user will be Ioannis. The third user will be, let's see, Makis. Okay, so the first username will be l@gmail.com. The second user will be at gmail.com, and the third user will be m@gmail.com. Their password will be 1, 2, 3, 4. The password for the second user will be 5, 6, 7. Let's call it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That one will be 4, 5, 6. And the third user will be 7, 8, 9. Try to make it simple for now. The users will be able to actually change this. We're going to make sure that they will have the functionality. So we have all the settings now in place. Let's save the project. Let's go to the login page now. Let's see, where is it? Okay, let's open the login page. So within login page open, what I need to do here, I need to put a timer. So we added a timer here. So let's go to the properties and make sure the timer is activated. Let's change the interval to 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And I'm just going to leave the timer 1 as timer 1. Okay, let's put my timer. My timer 1. Okay. So now I'm going to change the text value of my phone to login to my app. And then you're going to put this whatever name of your app you want to put. If you watch some of my other video tutorials, I'm showing you how to create a logo and how to generate this icon and change the icon. I'm going to put this on the description as well, so you can see similar videos. For example, the hotel app, software application video tutorial. I'm showing you how to add the icon and images. I'm not going to show you the images and icon on this video tutorial. Let's focus on the coding here. Alright, so this is the login page. So on the login page we need to put two labels, two text boxes, and a button. Let's make this login page a bit smaller. Let's put the button here. It's up to you how you're going to do it. It's your software application. So for the label, I'm going to change the text value. Please add the username. For the label 2, I'm just going to change that to please add the password. Oops. I'm going to change the name values now as well. This will be LBL password. And the other label will be LBL username. Username. Okay. So now I'm going to change the text boxes. Let's increase the size there. So I'm going to change the name here to TXT username. And I'm going to change this to TXT password. I'm going to select the button now. I'm just going to change the name of the button to BTN login. And also I'm going to change the text value to read login. So the text value is what the users will be able to see. Now, in the previous video tutorial that I showed you how to change the font color and customize the font. Here on the properties you will be able to change the sizes and the colors. So for this video tutorial I'm going to leave everything pretty basic because we have to cover quite a lot of stuff. So the next thing I need to do here is double click on my form, on the login form. So when the login form loads, we need to basically create a global variable here. So that's within, just right below the public class. We're going to create a global variable. In Visual Basic, we start in a variable by basically putting dim. Dim is short for dimension. And I will say my time, that's my variable. I'm going to assign the integer 32 or 16. We can put 16 because we're not going to go for a big number. Date type, and by default it's going to set to 0. So I'm creating a variable. My dimension is my variable actually is called my time, and I'm assigning a date type to integer 16, and this is equals to 0. Okay, so now my form loads. What I want to do, let's put here, we can hide this later on just for testing purposes. Let's put one more label here, and I'm just going to change that to 0 for now, and I'm just going to call this LBL current time. Okay, so this will count down to maybe 3 seconds to check and validate that the user has registered basically, and we can change the time later on. So like I said before, we will hide this later on. So what we need to do now, let's go back to the form load, and here we're going to say LBL current time dot text is equals to my time, my dot to string. So we're converting basically the integer into string because we want to display this with it as a text. Okay, So that's all we need to do here, and we need to go back to the login page now, and we need to double click this time to my timer 1. And here what we're gonna do, we're gonna say my time plus equals 1. So we want every time, let's go back to the login page, let's select the timer. Every time the interval changes, so every 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second, every second, basically what we're going to do, we're going to say we're going to add into this variable +1 value. Okay. So now we're going to say LBL current time dot text is equals to my time dot to string. Let's put the open and closing parenthesis here. And now we are going to create an if statement. So I will say if my time is equals to, let's put 5 seconds for now, is equals to 5, then me.hide, so I'm hiding the current form, I will say form FRM serial number dot show. And I will say my timer 1 dot stop. So I'm stopping my timer. Okay. So here's what we try to do here. If the user, so what we need to do is, if we're going to create an if statement later on, okay, and we're going to say if the user have to wait for 5 seconds, yeah, and then we're gonna basically go through hide the current form and show the serial number. If the serial number, however, let's go now to the serial number form. Let's open the serial number form. So if the serial number already registered, then we're gonna hide this and we're gonna stop the timer. Okay. So let's go now here to the serial number. I think it will make more sense once I've done it. So let's put here a button. Let's put a label. Let's put a text box. So with the label selected, I'm just going to change the label text value to say, please add the serial number. I'm just going to change the name value to txt serial number. Sorry, this is a label, my bad. So LBL serial number. So that's the text value here. So for the text name, we're going to call it txt serial number. Okay. And here we're going to put on this button, oops, let's go back out. Where is it? Serial number there. Let's put this there. Let's change the text value to register. And let's change the name value, btn register. Okay. Okay, so we're going to double click here, and here we're going to say if statement, if txt serial number dot text is equals to my dot settings dot serial number. If that's true, then we're going to say me dot hide frm login dot show. Else message box dot show. Within our message box, we're going to say please add a correct serial number. Okay, you can put the serial number you have added. Let's put the serial number you have added is incorrect. please add a correct serial number. Okay. So also we need to make sure that if we go to the settings now again, we want to make sure the register app status to change to 1. So we don't want to keep asking the user to keep adding the serial number every time they run the software application. So if we go here, we're going to say if this will happen only if the serial number matches. Yeah. So we're going to say let's put my.settings serial number, no serial, what did we call this? Let's go back to my project, registered app serial status. So settings register app status equals 1, and now we're gonna save the settings. So my.settings.save. So we change the status of these settings to 1, and basically we save the settings. Okay, so this will do. So what we need to do now, let's go back to the login page, and on the form load, let's put here an if statement. So I will say if my.settings registered app status is equals to 1, I will say my timer 1 dot stop. Okay, we don't want the timer to kick in. Basically, if the timer doesn't kick in, the timer will never reach to 5. If the timer will never reach to 5, then it's not going to hide the current form and show us the serial number of page. Hopefully this makes sense. Let's try it. So I'm just going to save this. Let's press start. So by default, I will see the login page. So it counts to number 5. Once it reaches number 5, the login page disappears. So I've got the serial number here. So if I put 1234 hyphen 1234, which is my serial number, I'm just going to put an 8 here just to validate that it works. The serial number you have added is incorrect. Please add a correct serial number. Let's click OK. Let's remove the 8 here. Let's click register. So now because we have registered, the status now, the timer doesn't count anymore. So it's stuck onto 5 here because the timer stopped basically. So let's stop that. Let's build the software to fully test it. So file, let's go to build and publish. Click finished. Let's run it. Let's install it. Okay, so the timer works. So now it's going to take me to the serial number. So if I put 1234 hyphen 1234 and click register, it's opening the software now. So if I now go to here and try to open my app, what they call it? My app, I call it my app. So let's go to the letter M. My app. Okay, as you can see here, the timer is stopped into 0, so it doesn't actually kicked in, which means that I will never be redirected again to the serial number. All right, so we know now the first part of our software application works. So what we need to do, we don't want the user to we don't want to wait for 5 seconds. So let's make the timer quicker. So let's make it 100 interval. And instead of waiting for 5, let's go back to the serial number here. No, sorry, the login. Let's go here on the timer. Instead of 5, let's say if timer equals to 1. So if we basically press start, let's click OK. Okay, so loads again. So because it remembers the cache here. So if I go to my project, I'm just going to change the register app status to register app status 1. So I can actually test. Okay, as you can see here, straight away it's jumped to this for me to add the serial number. Can you see that? Because we changed the interval of the timer, so people will not be able to see the first form. Okay, so we know it's working now. Let's go back to status. Oops. Let's remove the one. Let's go back to register app status, because I don't want to keep registering the app now. We know that register the app is working. So let's now focus on the login page now. Let's stop the project now. Let's go to the login page. Let's select the label, and I'm just going to change the status to hide. So visible equals true. I'm going to change that to visible equals false. So I don't want this to be visible. So if I press play now, as you can see here, this label is no longer visible. The reason why I'm not deleting this is because in the future I might want to do further tests. So let's stop this. Now let's fix the login page. So let's double click here. So now we're going to create an if statement. So we'll say if the user basically clicks on the login button, we need to create an if statement. So we'll say if txt username dot text is equals to my.settings.user1 username and txt password dot text is equals to my.settings.user1 password. If that's true, then we want to basically give access to the user to what did we call main app, frm main app dot show, and then we'll say me.hide. Okay. Else if let's highlight this. I don't want to type them again. Copy this. So we'll say else if the txt username.text equals the settings of the user2 username and the user2 password. Now the user2 password, I'm just going to put here some programmer's comment. This is the super admin. Then I don't want to access the frm main, I want to access the frm superadmin. Okay, I will say me.hide. Through superadmin I will be able to access everything else. Now I'm gonna copy this user, the first user again, Control C to copy, or right click and select copy. So here I'm gonna put, after me.hide here, I'm gonna put another else if statement. Txt user, if the user is user number 3 now, and the user password is number 3, then we're showing again the main admin. So here we can actually put normal user. Let's copy that. Control C to copy. And this guy will be normal user as well. So we have normal user. Let's put this here. Control X to code that. Okay. And this user is the super admin. Okay. So if you have more users, then you put more users by following the same process, another else if statement. So if none of them is right, so I'm just going to put an alternative here, else message box.show and then in double quotes on known user. This statement will never be true. Okay, sorry, this statement will kick in if the user has not put the correct login details, or known user, please contact the administrator on, and then you can make up the number, mobile number or whatever you want to put, 045, whatever. I just make a number. Okay, so let's save this. Now remember, if we go to my project, the first username is l@gmail and the password is 123. The second is I@gmail, which is the super administrator, 456 and 789. Okay, let's go now to the main form. Where is it? Let's open FRM main app. Let's put a label here to greet the user. Let's make this label, let's change the label value to LBL welcome. I'm just going to call it welcome, LBL welcome. Let's change the font color to, let's make it green. Let's change the font size to 32. Okay, so now we're going to double click on the form. So on the form load, so I'm just double clicking anywhere not on the label, on the form, so to basically generate the private sub for form load. So I will say when basically the form loads, I'm going to say lbl welcome.text equals, and then I will say my, let's put this on my settings. So my dot, let's go to my settings. Oh, let's do it a different way. So let's create a global variable here, a property variable on the login page. So let's go to the login page, and here we are going to create a property variable. So if we go here, we want to pass basically the user here. So we're going to say frm main app dot passed value equals, and then we'll say txt username dot text. Now what we need to do here, we need to generate basically the passed value property. So if we go back to the main page and go to the loading form there, just below the public class, we need to create the settings here. So we're going to say public property, and then we're going to call this passed value, assign the string data type. Okay. So here, let's put an if statement here. So we're going to say if passed value dot is equals to let's say because we're going to be checking the email address. So the first user is l@gmail.com, or we can actually because just in case the user changes its mind and change the user. So if we say is equals to my dot settings dot user one username, if that's true, then we're going to say lbl welcome.text equals my.settings.user1 name. Okay. We can say here also, we can put a string here. We're going to say welcome back, and then I will say plus the variable here, the person's name. Okay. So now we need to create an else if statement. So I'm just going to copy this now, paste it there. I'll say else if the user is number 2, I want to welcome the second user, and let's put else if the user is number 3, I want to welcome the number 3 user. So the first user, let's put here user 1. Okay, so if the value is the past value from the login page is the first user, then welcome back the first user. Else, if the value is passed is the second user, the username, so I will say welcome to, and then user 2, the person's name. So if we go back, and then if the user 3 username is passed, then I'm calling the user 3 name. And then before the value of the name, we'll put welcome back space and the name. So if we go back to settings here, so this is the name of the user Lee, Ioannis, and Makis. So let's go back now to the login page. What we're going to do here, we need to basically pass the value here. I'm going to copy this. We're going to paste this here. Also, we're going to paste this here. We want to paste, basically pass the value wherever it is on the text txt username. Okay, let's save this. Let's run the software. Let's test it. So the first user is l@gmail.com and the password is 123. Click login. Okay, so it's not showing welcome Lee. Let's see why. Okay, so okay, I think I know what it is. So if we go to login page, because we're showing the form first and then we apply the value, so let's change the order here. So let's cut that from here. Let's put this here at the top. So let's remove this from here. So we want to pass the value first and then show the form. So the order is case sensitive. Okay, so let's try again. Let's save this. So l@gmail.com 123 login, welcome back Lee. Okay, so let's go back now. Let's say i@gmail.com 456. This will open the super admin, so I can put the grid in there as well. And the next one is, I'm going to start again. So it's going to be m@gmail.com 789 and welcome back Makis. That's better. Let's get the greeting there on let's stop this project. Let's go to the main. I'm just going to copy this label. I'm going to go to the super admin, right click and paste the label here. And I'm just going to go to the main app. And on the form load, I just need to put here the if statement. Let's put this there. Okay. So we also need to pass the values here. So if past value, so let's remove that. We only have one if statement. Let's remove that here as well. I will say else message box.show we'll say in double quotes on no admin. Okay, so here I need to create the public variable, the global variable, sorry. So let's go to my main, and I can actually copy this line here, public property. Let's go to the super admin. Let's apply the public property here. That's better. So I can actually save this. So now if I actually log on as i@gmail.com 456, it will show now, oops, no admin here. Did I put the right password? Let's go here. i@gmail.com 456. Let's try again. i@gmail.com 456. Okay, no admin. Alright, so it's not passing the values. Let's have a look. Why? Let's go to super admin. This is me being silly because I have not named the label here. Oops. Super admin. Let's have a look. The label is welcome. Let's call it super admin. So if past value equals my settings, then LBL super admin equals welcome. Let's call value 2 here. Things create a conflict here. So let's go back to the login page. Let's put here else if the user is 2, pass the value 2. FRM main up. Oh, me being silly. That's why I don't need to change that. I need to change that to super FRM super admin to pass the value. That's why. Let's change that to past value. Okay, so because I wasn't passing, so let's go back to login page. I wasn't passing the pass value to the correct form. Basically, I was passing to the wrong form. That's why I could not find it. So let's try now again. Should be all right now. So we'll say i@gmail.com 456, and now we should say welcome back, Ioannis. Okay, so we are on the super admin here. Let's stop the project. So now our login page work. So the next thing we need to do is basically we need to change the password. So we're gonna go to the FRM change password. Let's put a text box. Sorry, let's put a button here. Let's make this a bit smaller. Now let's put label, and let's put a text box. And here for the label, we're going to change the text value. Please type the new password. And for the name value, we're just going to call this LBL new password. And for the text value, here, text box, we're going to change the name to TXT new password. And for the text value, we want to basically display the current password. So we're going to do this in a minute on the form load. We're going to select the button now. We're going to change the value to btn change password. And for the text value, I'm just going to put change password. Okay, so now we're gonna double click the form, and now we're gonna go to let's go to the main page, and here we're gonna say, is that not main page? Sorry, let's select this if statement here. Okay. So let's copy this if statement here. In fact, no, let's do it from scratch. So I don't want to confuse you. So let's go to change password. Okay. So we are on the change password and double click on the button here. So this is our button. And if we go to change password, if we double click on the actual form, this is the form load. Okay, so we need to create an if statement here to basically display the current password of the user. So we'll say if let's put, because we need to basically pass the values now as well. So if we go to, we need to pass the values first. So we need to go to our settings page. Let's go. No, we're going to the main, let's go to the main app, okay, and let's add the button here, let's call this button, let's put this here, let's change the text value to settings, let's change the name to btn settings. So these basically settings will open the settings form. So let's double click this and we'll say me.hide, and then we'll say frm settings.show. Okay, simple as that. Okay, and also we need to pass the values for the user. So we already have the public property here, pass values. We're gonna copy this, and then we're gonna go to the settings. So we're gonna put the values here, property, to pass the value. So if we go back to the main app here, and then we need to basically pass, let's go back to the login page. So on the login page, we're passing the values here. So let's copy that. So this is the user. So we're gonna put, let's go back to here. We're just gonna type here frm settings. So frm settings.pass value, and now we need to basically have a hidden field here where where we're gonna have our username. So let's go to, because we already extracted the username, if you remember here. So we need to store the username. So user1, user2, user3. So what we're gonna do here is, let's go back to the main. Let's put a label here. Let's put the label, yeah, let's put the label right here. Okay, and I'm just gonna put here, now the text value we're gonna change dynamically. So for the name, we're gonna say LBL username. Okay, LBL username. And later on, what we're gonna do, we're gonna obviously make this, change the visibility of this value to false, so the users won't be able to actually see it. So for the meantime, we'll set it as true. So LBL username. So if we go here, so we set if the user is this, we want to the LBL username dot text to be equals to basically the username. My settings, I'm going to copy that. Okay, and we're going to copy this line, and we're going to put this line here. Obviously, we're going to change that to user2 username. We're going to paste this here. We're going to change this to user3 username. So basically, we have the username here. So we need now to pass the value of the LBL username. Okay, so we're passing this value now, the LBL username, over to the settings. Okay, so once we are in settings now, let's double click here, form load. Okay, so we have the pass the value here, and we want to pass now the values to the next form, which is the change the password. So if we go now to the main app, basically what we're going to say here, we'll copy that, Control C to copy. Let's go to the settings. So when the form loads, if the pass value of the settings is user1, then we need, let's create on the settings another label. We can pick up the label from the main app, sorry. Yeah, let's pick up this label. Let's put here username for the text, so we know what it is stuff actually. Let's put here, don't forget to hide before export. Okay, we'll put a little message there for us. So we copy this value, we'll go to the settings and we paste that. Okay, so the name value is the same now. Okay, LBL username. We can call it settings. Okay, so LBL username settings. Oops, settings dot text. Okay, so we can actually, we don't have to grid anymore. So let's delete that. Let's add this now. Let's separate that. So it's going to be user2 and the user3 here. Hopefully I'm not confusing you here. Okay, just put some space here so you understand what's going on. So I'm basically passing again the values, past value. So if the user is username1, then the label user name settings, we'll just create it, is equals to the username based on one of the settings, the user2 and the user3. So now, if I go to my settings, I will be able to actually have the values of the correct user. Again, I'm going to hide this, having this visible while we're testing it. So now I'm going to create a button here on my settings. So you can have multiple buttons. So one of the first button I'm going to have here is the text value is change password. And the name value, I'm just going to call this btn change password. So when the user clicks on this button, what I want to do, I want to pass the values again. I want to pass the values to change password. Let's put here. Okay, we're passing the values. Let's remove that to change the password. And here, if I go back to my main, what I'm going to do, as you can see here, I'm passing the values. I'm just going to copy this if statement. In fact, no, I'm just going to copy that. Copy this. So when the user selects, let's go settings. When the user selects the change password, what I want to do is frm change password.show, frm change password dot pass values equals LBL username. What that call the username? Let's go back to change password. Settings. Let's see what I call this username. I call it LBL username settings. So LBL username settings. Okay. So I'm passing these values. Okay. So if the pass value equals the user 1, user 2, user 3, okay, so it's going to basically display the correct user onto the label. And now I'm passing the label over from this form, which is the settings, over to the change password. So if I go now to the change password on form load, I need to again have the if statement here. So if we go back to settings, I'm going to copy all that and then go to change password, and I'm going to paste this on form load. And if we go to the change password, I don't have the label that holds the values. So if I go back to settings and copy this label, let's go back to change password and paste it. Again, remember, we're going to hide this. We just want this to store it temporarily. So we're going to change that to username change password. Let's increase that. LBL username change password. So if I go here, we call the LBL username change password dot text. So I can double click and copy this, Control C, Control V, double click, Control V to paste. So if the passed value now is the user 1 username, then show the user 1 username on the label, or the user 2 or the user 3. So hopefully this is making sense now. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. This is what we're doing here. So hopefully it will make sense to you. So if we go now to change password now, we want to basically on form load, we want that this text box, let's see what name we gave to this text box, txt new password. We want to display the actual correct password. So if we go now to the form load, so we say if the user is this, okay, then we also want the txt new password dot text to be equals to my dot settings dot user 1 password. We're going to copy this now, and we're going to paste it right here below for the user 2, and we're going to paste it below here for the user number 3. So basically the txt new password will basically show this. Now when somebody clicks on the change password button, we need to create the same if statement here. So let's copy this if statement here. And we'll say if txt new password dot text equals the user 1, then what we're going to do, we're going to say my dot settings dot user 1 password is equals to txt new password dot text, and then we're going to say my dot settings dot save. So let's understand what's happening here. If the text new password, which is this text field, contains the user 1 username, okay, sorry, this is if the txt, yeah, no, we don't want the txt password here. I'm gonna say if the LBL text, yeah, that's the one, sorry. So if we say LBL, if the label change password dot text equals my settings dot username 1, user 1, then my dot settings user 1 password equals to basically a new password, and then we save in the settings. So let's copy this. Let's change that. Let's delete all that. And then we'll say else if LBL username change password dot text equals the user 2, then we want to change, so the user 2 password equals to the txt new password dot text. And then we'll say else if is the user number 3, we want to change the password for the user number 3. Okay, so let's save this. Let's run the software. Let's log on as the first user, so l@gmail.com, and the password is 123. I'm going to change the 123 to 999. So welcomely, I'm just going to go to settings. So I'm hiding the main form now, and the FRM setting shows. So I'm going to select change password, username, don't forget, okay. So if for some reason it's not showing, we should be able to see it here, the Lee's email address here. Let's click change, and here, yeah, we don't pass the correct values. So let's have a look. Let's stop that. Okay, I've done the same mistake again. So we need to basically pass the value before everything else. So let's put that there. So we pass in the value. That's important, guys. Okay, we pass in the value first, and then we hide in and show in the other form. So let's go to the settings and make sure we do the same. Yeah, we've done again the same here. Let's cut that from here. Let's put that there. And let's go to change the password. Okay, this will do. So let's save this. Let's try again. That's why it is important for us to basically always have this visible for now while we're testing it. l@gmail.com 123. Oops. Yeah, the L is missing. gmail.com. Welcome locally, so we can see the email address. So let's click on settings. Now we can see the email address. Let's change the password. We can see the email address, and now we can see that 123 is Lee's password. So if we change that to 999, click change, we can put a warning, a message box as well. The password's changed correctly. So let's stop this project. Let's go to change the password, and we'll say if the save the password message box dot show message box dot show, and in double quotes we're gonna say you have successfully changed the password. And then here we're gonna say me.hide, and then we'll say frm, let's go back to the settings dot show. Okay, so let's highlight these 3 lines. Let's paste them there. Let's paste them there as well. Okay, so let's save this and let's play. So let's see if the password has changed to 999. So l@gmail.com. If I put 123, I should receive a warning now. Yeah, unknown user, please contact. Yeah, that's good. So if I put here 999, welcome back Lee, settings, change password, I can see now 999. Okay, so if I put that now to 444 and click change, you have successfully changed the password. Okay, and now I'm redirected back to the FRM settings. And because my as I logged on Lee, so we have here the change password. We can put a button here to go back to the main menu. So let's close that. Let's go to change password, settings. Let's put a button here, just right above. We can say the text value back to the main app. Just call it main app, or let's call it home. Let's go to the name, we'll call it BTN home. Let's double click this. I'm going to say me.hide frm main app.show. Perfect. Okay. Let's go back to the change password. So if we want to go back to the main page here, let's go to settings. Let's go to the home, copy the home button here. Let's go to the change password and let's paste the home button here. Okay, so the user can actually go home. Let's put further down a little bit. Here we're going to say me.hide frm main app.show. Oops. Okay, so we have now the settings, the home. Okay, cool. Now for the super admin, I'm gonna, as a super admin, I should be able to change the username, the password. So I'm just gonna put a button, label, 2 labels here. In fact, I'm just going to put one label here, and then I'm going to put a text box. I'm going to replicate. I'm going to show you how quickly and easily to replicate the values. So I'm just going to put here, the text value will be user1. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this, hold the control key and click and drag. Let's put user1 username. We're going to put here user1 password. Let's hold the control key down. I'm replicating this again. This will be user1 name. Okay, so now I need to name the label appropriately. So I'm just going to call this LBL user1 username. LBL user1 password. LBL user1 name. For the text value, for the text box one, I'm just going to call this txt user1 username. This will be txt user1 password. This will be txt user1 name. I'm just gonna change. In fact, we can put this change because we can make lots of changes, and we can actually put the changes here. So we're gonna highlight this, hold the control key down, and go further down. Oh, let's put this aside, side by side. Let's do this again, the same. Hold the control key down. Okay, so this will be user2. User2 and user2. This will be user3. Oops, I put user2 there. User3. User3 and user3. For the name, we're going to call this LBL user2 username. LBL user2 password. LBL user2 name. For the text box, we're going to call this txt user2 username. Txt user2 password. Txt user2 name. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to say LBL for label, LBL user3 username. It's quite repetitive here, so hopefully you get the gist here. TXT user3 username. This is LBL user3 password. This is a TXT user3 password. This is LBL user3 name and txt user3 name. Okay, so it is important to name all the objects correctly so we can actually call them throughout the code without actually making mistakes. So we have txt user2, the name and the password. Fantastic. Okay, so let's put this button here. Let's make a big one there. Let's change that to BT and save settings. And for the label, save settings. Okay. So this is the greeting. Okay. So instead of function welcome, let's put this welcome. Okay. So now what we need to do is on form load. So we're going to double click here. And as a super admin, we want to pass the values. Okay. So we already done that. We pass the value. So we say if the pass value, we pick passing the username, which is great. Okay. So we want to also display. Let's go to the settings here. Let's copy this. Let's go to super admin. And let's Control V to paste. So we want the username here. So we want, in fact, do we need the username? No, we don't. We don't need this actually. So on form load, what we want to do is welcome back. Okay, so on form load, we want to settings username. Yeah, let's make sure that the correct user admin, super admin is logged on. So let's put these values into the if statement. So if somebody tried to access it, which is no a super admin, they will receive no admin. Okay, so we'll say txt user1 dot text equals my dot settings dot user1 name, txt user1 password dot text equals my dot settings dot user1 password, txt user1 username dot text equals my dot settings dot user1 username. So we have these values here. So Control C, Control V, and Control V to paste here as well. So we have now the txt2, 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 user2, user2, and user2, and txt3, 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 user3, user3, user3. Okay. So now this will happen on form load. So what we're gonna do this now, we're gonna copy this. So when the form loads, we're gonna welcome the super administrator, and we're gonna basically display on the text boxes the appropriate data. So if we go back to the super admin, we're gonna double click on the save button, and now we need to basically save all this. So we need to reverse this. So we're gonna say code that, remove the equals from here. We're gonna put that here. We're gonna say is equals to. We're gonna code that from here, we're going to put this on the other side, and I'm going to say is equals to. I'm going to call that from here. Oops. It's easier to code it with Control X. Is equals to. Let's remove the equals from here. So instead of keep doing this, I'm just gonna, it's easier for me to copy these 3 lines, paste them here, and change that to user 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. And here we're gonna say 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3 here. So when basically the settings, the button save settings is clicked, we want the values to be sent to the settings, whatever text value we have, sent to the settings, and we also want to basically my.settings.save. Okay, and save all the settings. So hopefully this makes sense to you. So let's save this. So if we now press start, and I'm going to log on now as a super admin, which is i@gmail.com. My password is 456 and login. Now I can see every user's login details. So if I change, say for instance, Lee's login details to pack 2, 1, 2, and 3, and click save, when I click save, nothing happens. We can actually put a message box here. Let's stop the project. Message box dot show box dot show you have successfully saved the new settings. Okay. So if we go i@gmail.com 456. So if I change that, so as you can see, 1, 2, 3 is changed that. 4, you have successfully changed the settings. Okay, so the settings changed. So if I go close this now and try to log on as Lee, so l@gmail.com 1, 2, 3, 4 this time. Okay, welcome Lee. Lee can go here, Lee can go back home, Lee can go to set settings, Lee can go to change password. Let's put number 5 here. We can change, select change. Password is changed. If we go back to change password, we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's close this. Now to log out, let's create a logout button as well here. So let's go back to the main app and let's add a new button. We're gonna call this new button logout. So the text value will be logout and the name value will be btn logout, and we're gonna say me.hide, and then we're gonna say login frm login.show. So let's select this. Let's start. l@gmail.com. And then we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome Lee. Log out, and now we can see Lee's information here. So we're gonna change this. So if we go to the login page, so after we hide the form, we want to basically change the txt So this is on login form. So txt password dot text equals, and then we're going to put nothing. Okay. I'm just going to leave the username as it is. We're only going to clear the password. If you want to clear the username as well, you can do. So if we press start again, we'll say l@gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5, log in and log out. The password is cleared, but the username is there. So we can always clear the username as well if you like. You can do this by actually put this there and change that to username equals nothing, basically. Let's save this. Let's start. Let's go for m@gmail.com. The password 789. Hello Makis. Let's log out. Okay, so Makis, the username of the password is clear now. So if we'll put that here again, m@gmail.com 789. We can actually see m@gmail are variable works, which means that we can go on the settings. We can see Makis' email address. We can change the password for Makis. So let's put here number 0, 7890, change. Okay. So let's go back to the home tab. Let's log out. Let's type m@gmail.com and then 789 and 0. And now we have the change the new password, so we can actually see the password here. Change it again. Okay, so everything works fine. Now the final thing I'm going to show you, and this will be the end of this tutorial, is to basically hide the password, because it's not good to have the password displayed. So if we go to the login page and we select the password text box, let's go to the password character. Let's go to the properties. We're going to find here the password character. There is password character. Let's put an asterisk here. So you can put any letter that you like. You can put the number 3 or whatever you want to put. Asterisk is the most common character people using. So if I actually go here now to start the project and put m@gmail.com, and I'm gonna put 789 and click log on and log out. So as you can see here, m@gmail.com 789 is replaced by asterisk. If I put something else there, and then the unknown user, please contact the administrator. Did I spell this right? Administrator. Yeah. So if I put here 789, it will log on. Now, this is how you create a secure software application with a serial number, with multiple users, with settings. So the final thing before I close this project is make sure the timer, did we hide the timer? So let's make the visibility. Visible is equals false. Let's go to the next form here. So let's select this username. Let's change the visibility to false as well. So let's change it from true to false. We don't want to display this anymore. Let's go to the login page. Yeah, we've done that. Let's go to the main page. Let's select the label here. Let's change the visibility to false. Let's go to the next serial number. Yeah, we don't need that. Settings, yeah, we need to change that, the visibility to false. And super admin, yeah, we don't have this there. Okay, that's okay. So now the users will not be able to actually see their email address there. So l@gmail.com. I forgot now what the password was, 789. No, This is 7890. No. Forgot the password. Okay, let's log on as super admin. So that's why it is important for us to put a help menu to contact the super admin. So the super admin will take control over the computer and log on. And as a super admin, I think this is my password. Yeah. So I can see now the Lee's password is 12345. Let's change that to 123 simplified. So let's save it. Now we can contact Lee and we can say, please try to log on again. Your password is 123. So we don't want to password protect these characters here, so we need to be able to see it. So we can actually advise the customer on what the password is. In fact, no, because of the Data Protection Act, let's skip save. Let's go to the password character. Let's put an asterisk here. So what we're going to say to the user is we don't know your password. Let's put an asterisk there. We don't know your password, but we're going to change it for you to something else, and then you will be able to log on and change it. As soon as you log on, you need to change it. So gmail.com 456 my password. As you can see here, I cannot see the user's password, so I'm just going to change that to 333. Yeah, saved. So now I can contact Lee. I can say, right, okay, your password is 333. Please add your password 333 and then change as soon as you log on. So I'm going to log on as Lee now. So l@gmail.com 333. Click login and settings and change the password. I can see 33 here. So Lee can actually see his password. Let's put 3339. So Lee will change the password now. If I go exit this, log on as super administrator. I cannot see. I can see that he's got on his password 4 characters, but I cannot see which characters he's going as his password. Now, one final thing that people ask me in the past: how do I basically make the button register on my enter key? So you need to select the form. Basically, let's stop this project. Make sure you name the forms appropriately. So the text value of the forms, make sure that don't have FRM. So the text value. Super admin, so you want to look professional. Okay, let's go to change password. So the text value to change password, that's okay. Yeah, it's there already. So FRM change password, remove the FRM from the text so it looks more professional. Let's go to the login to the app. That's good. FRM main app, yeah, we don't want on the text value, we don't want the FRM, so we'll say main app, that's better. Serial number, we don't need the serial number. The FRM we don't need, the serial number we do. Settings, let's select the form, again, change the text value to settings. Super admin, okay, we have everything there. Now, if you want for the button to register when you basically press the enter key, what you need to do is select the form and then locate on the properties accept button. So accept button, drop down the list, BT and save settings. You can only accept one button, so if you have multiple buttons, you won't be able, you just need to select which button you want to use. So in this case, we're going to select the form and we're going to go to the accept button, and we want the accept button to basically execute the save the settings, change BTN change password. Okay, let's log in. So we're going to select the login. We're going to accept the button to log in. So accept button, BTN login. The next form is FRM. Okay, so we don't want any the enter key to register anything here. So let's go to the serial number. So we want the serial number to register. So accept button. Accept. Where is the accept button there? BTN register. Settings. Now we don't want any button here acceptance. So we're gonna go super admin. I think we already done that. Accept button, BTN save. Okay, so now if I press the play button and I put L and let's put i@gmail.com 456. Now I'm going to press the enter key on my keyboard. It registers this. So if I change my username to Ioannis and then press the enter key, I'm saving the settings. So now if I close this and I try to log on now as i@gmail.com 456 and press the enter key, unknown user. So if I change that to Ioannis, enter, I've got access to it. And the final thing, now we're gonna go to save all, build, publish my app, finished, and double click to install or highlight this, right click, highlight all this, right click and compress, send to zip, basically start selling your application. So I've got this now. So if I go here, my app, so ioannis@gmail.com 456, enter. Oops, it's not installed. Still have the old version. Let's double click here. Let's double click here. Let's uninstall it. Control panel. Oops. Program files. My app. Got a few apps here. Let's uninstall them. Remove. 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 Let's remove that one as well. Okay, let's close that. Can't remember my serial number now. So 1234 1234. Let's click that. That's some Christmas pictures. Right, let's go here. Let's install the app. Alright, so the serial number is 1234-1234. Okay, the user is i@gmail.com. It's 456. So this is the, okay, we'll change that. No, we didn't, the Gmail. This is the default settings that I had. Okay, that's good. So if I change that to Ioannis now and press the enter key, successful change, we can close the app and go back now to open the app again. This time I'm gonna log on as ioannis@gmail.com 456, enter. I've logged on. I forgot to put log out. Never mind. Okay, so everything works now. So if I go back here, let's log on as Lee. So l@gmail.com 123, enter. Welcome Lee. Settings. Lee will go to change the password. Let's put 4 here. Change. Okay, let's change now and put 5 and then press enter. So the enter key and enter key again works. Let's go to home. Welcome Lee. Let's log out. The username and the password fields are cleared. And this is, if I close the app and go back on, it's not asking me, it's not asking me again to put the serial number. So this is how you create a powerful software application. I hope I didn't confuse you too much here, but play around, watch the video a couple times, so hopefully it will start making sense exactly what I've done. It's quite logical, it's quite repetitive. Keep working hard and you will be able to create great applications. Again, thank you very much for watching. I will include on the bottom of the on the comments I'm going to include the previous video tutorial where I'm showing you how I created the software application for a hotel. And there I'm showing you how to actually customize the forms, change the colors, change the font styles, and add images and icons. Bye for now.